Well, good evening, and congratulations to the class of 2025. Please take your seats. As president of Youngstown State University, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's commencement. Now you get to stand back up. Please stand for the presentation of the colors by the Youngstown State University Army Reserve Officer Training Corps Color Guard and remain standing for the national anthem sung by Antonio George.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Now you may be seated. It is now my pleasure to call upon one of your fellow graduates to reflect on his experiences at YSU and mark the ceremony with his inspiring words. Cole Burnett is graduating today with a Bachelor of Science in Biology Bac Med track. It is my honor to introduce Cole.
Thank you, President Johnson. Thank you, faculty, and thank you, class of 2025, for the honor to speak here today. When I first learned I had the opportunity to speak at commencement, I set off on a mission to come up with something profound, something you could carry with you for the rest of your lives. Unfortunately, I quickly learned that that is a lot easier said than done, so instead we'll settle with this. Regardless, I began to think back on all the advice I'd ever been given, and one thing managed to stick with me. Don't be an Icarus, don't fly too close to the sun. Now, for those of you that aren't familiar with Greek mythology, I'm going to take a step back and explain. You see, Icarus was the son of a masterful inventor named Daedalus, and after a long series of events, both Icarus and his father found themselves trapped at the very top of a towering prison. But Daedalus was clever, and eventually he devised a plan to escape by creating a pair of wings out of feathers and wax. But right as they were about to jump, Daedalus offered advice to Icarus. Fly too close to the sun, and it will melt the wax. Fly too low to the sea, and the water weighing down your wings will drag you under. Don't go too high, don't go too low. Just survive. So Daedalus and Icarus set off together for a new home, and at first, Icarus listened to his father's advice. But as he began to feel the ocean breeze between his fingers and the sun beating down on his face, he became overwhelmed with the brand new world. Icarus began to stretch his wings and fly higher and higher until finally he was among the stars. And then he fell. Icarus fell to his death, the wax melted, the end. For thousands of years, people have used this story as a means to convince people to take the easy route, to play it safe, to stay in the middle. And for so many of us, we live by this. Whether we realize it or not, we are heeding Daedalus's warning every day as we go about our lives. Don't take risks, don't dream too big, don't aim too high, or you'll end up just like Icarus. Another cautionary tale to tell our children. But this so-called moral of the story is tragic. This mindset causes us to live life with such a great fear of falling that we never even leave the tower. We trade ambition for comfort, potential for predictability, and we start measuring our lives in how well we are not falling rather than our ability to soar. But here's the thing. Even if you play it safe, even if you fly in the middle for your entire life, believe me that you are going to fall. You will fail a test. You will lose an opportunity. You will question your own path, and if you dare to love, your heart will eventually break. I wish I could tell you that it's not going to hurt, that the fall will be gentle, or that you could somehow prepare yourself for it. But let me tell you this, pain is not something that we can nor should avoid. Every failure, every setback shapes us more and more, molding us into the people we are meant to become. And when you start to see it that way, the whole story changes. Because after all, we aren't Icarus. We aren't some magical character in a myth with only one chance to get it right. If I've learned anything these past few years at YSU, it's grit. The kind of grit that lets you pick yourself up off the ground and rebuild your wings after they've been broken. The kind of grit that lets you climb back toward the sky even when it hurts. So when you leave this gymnasium and step out into the world, I want you to carry this message with you. Dream big. Ask yourself, how high would you set your goals if you knew that you could not fail? If fear wasn't holding you down? The future belongs to the bold, those that are willing to leave the tower and trust their wings. If you want to shape the future, you must set goals so high and so daring that people start to think you're crazy. The world does not need more people who play it safe. It needs more people that are wildly obsessed with the things and the people that they love. But here's the part of the story that they don't tell you. As Icarus flew higher and higher straight toward the sun, as he felt the wax scorch his skin and the wings come undone, he didn't cry. No, he didn't regret. Rather, he began to laugh. Icarus laughed as he fell, for he knew that to fall means to once have soared. And to the class of 2025, when you experience this fullness of life, when you push yourself beyond what everyone tells you is possible, you too will no longer be content with merely surviving. So go out there and fly. Soar higher than you ever imagined possible, because this world does not remember the cautious. It remembers the risk takers, the dreamers, and the ones who dare to soar. Joshua chapter 1 verse 9 reads, "Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid and do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." God bless, go Gwins, and congratulations, class of 2025.
Well, thank you, Cole. Graduates, it's my profound honor to join you today to help celebrate this important occasion. Today, you're not just graduates, you're beacons of hope and exemplars of perseverance and dedication. Whether you got loans, grants, scholarships, help from family, or paid the tuition yourself, the degree you earn today is just the down payment on your future. Indeed, one of the greatest Americans of the 20th century, Ronald Reagan, had graduates like you in mind when he said, and I quote, "Education is not the means of showing people how to get what they want. Rather, education is an exercise by means of which enough Americans, it is hoped, will learn to want what is worth having." Each of you has the inherent ability to achieve greatness through perseverance and personal responsibility. No one owes any of us success, but your hard work here at YSU proves that you're ready to earn it. And it's my hope that here at Youngstown State, you've learned to want what is truly worth having. Yes, the skills of your majors, but also the lessons of faith, family, and the values of personal responsibility and hard work that make our valley, our state, and our nation great. So I urge you to engage in the life and journey of our great nation. Participate, encourage, and lead. The values you uphold and the decisions you make will not just shape your own destiny, but also the future of America. Your parents and grandparents, many of whom are with us today, helped get you here, and you should thank them for sure. But their sacrifices and encouragement should also inspire you to do the same for others. Sure, we'll give you the paper that'll prove that you were educated here, but your future deeds, choices, and character will say so much more than your degree. Mark Twain, the great writer, once said, "The two most important days in your life are the day that you're born and the day you figure out why." So I urge you to seek out ways to know why. Know and understand why you were blessed to have spent this time here at Youngstown State. I assure you, my young friends, it was not by accident. Exploring that question, why, is critically important, because you'll learn that doing a thing well simply takes practice. But doing the right thing takes principle. Knowledge is good, but without integrity, without knowing who you are at your core, it'll fail you. And while your steps may lead you away from campus, a piece of YSU will always remain with you. So on behalf of the entire Youngstown State University and our vast Penguin family, I wish you well. We're proud that the future is in your hands. At this time, I'd like to make a special salute. In honor of our veterans and those currently serving, graduating student veterans are being honored at each commencement with patriotic red, white, and blue cords. Will the students wearing these special cords please stand? Please remain standing. Now, will all veterans and military men and women in the audience please stand? We truly thank you for your service. You may now be seated. Next, I'd like to recognize the students from our Honors College graduating today. They're wearing special medallions. I'd also like to recognize students graduating with honors. They're wearing gold cords. Will these students please stand? Thank you, and you may be seated. It is now my privilege to introduce the YSU Board of Trustee members that are present with us today. I ask that each stand as they're introduced and remain standing. Please hold your recognition until all members are introduced. Chuck George, entrepreneur, CEO of Hapco Incorporated, and founder of Sapientia Ventures. Sergil Erzram, surgeon and owner of the Center for Advanced Eye Surgery. Laura Leiden, sales and operations manager and corporate secretary of Leiden Oil Company. Joseph Corolla, head of PI&I Motor Express. And our student trustee, Zane Perico. You may be seated. At this time, I'd like to introduce the YSU leadership present with us today. Joy Pocabla Byers, Interim Vice President of Student Affairs and Dean of Students Ombudsperson. Mike Sherman, Vice President, Institutional Effectiveness and Board Professional. Seb Van Slambroek, Associate Provost. And Jennifer Adams, our Provost and Vice President for Academic Affairs. You all may be seated. Now, please join me in welcoming to the podium Provost Adams.
Tonight, it is my privilege to introduce someone who represents everything we mean when we talk about Youngstown grit. I had the chance to spend time with him last night, and what struck me most is how deeply his story reflects the character of this community. Resilience, hard work, humility, and a relentless drive to keep moving forward. Tim Petrie's journey is truly an inspirational story. He lost both of his parents early in life, yet he refused to let hardship define him. He worked his way through school, paid his own way, studied hard, and found support and encouragement from the very faculty who sit with us today. He graduated from Youngstown State University in 2009 and immediately began building a career defined by persistence and bold action. Tim has built a reputation as the fixer, the leader who takes on companies that are struggling and turns them into thriving, profitable enterprises. As CEO of HD Growth Partners, he transformed a small local accounting firm into a national advisory platform with more than 90 team members across the country and around the world. His entrepreneurial spirit didn't stop there. He created White Glove Payroll, now serving over 800 clients in 40 states. And everywhere he leads, he prioritizes people, culture, and innovation. But beyond his resume, Tim is simply a good human being. He met his wife Carla in the 5th grade when she walked into his classroom, and as he'll tell you, he knew immediately she was the one. Today they share 2 boys, ages 6 and 9, that keep him grounded and remind him why the work matters. And because Tim never does anything halfway, he even hosts a podcast, Failing Forward, where he talks with people who have stumbled, struggled, and ultimately succeeded. Graduates, Tim is here tonight to talk with you about exactly that: grit, perseverance, and the courage to go after what you see in front of you. Please join me in welcoming our 2025 commencement speaker, a proud YSU alumnus and a true embodiment of Youngstown determination, Tim Petrie.
Thank you, Provost. I should have brought paper. I'm a millennial and I couldn't bring it. Class of 2025, I am honored to be here with you all today. In just a few moments, you'll walk across this stage and receive your diplomas. But before that, I want to pause. Not for you, but for the people who got you here. To the parents, family, and friends, thank you. You believed in your college graduates when their confidence wavered. You answered the late night calls, sent care packages, and reminded them that one tough semester doesn't define their future. You watched them grow not just older, but wiser, kinder, and more capable. To the professors and faculty, and I know this from my own personal experience here at YSU, you didn't just teach them, you challenged them, you argued with them, you debated them, pushed them, and most importantly, expected more from them than they sometimes expected from themselves. You didn't just give them answers, you taught them how to ask better questions. And for that, this moment, this pride, this accomplishment is yours too. Congratulations and thank you. Graduates, let's take a moment to show our gratitude for the people that got you here today. Today doesn't just mark the end of your education. It marks the beginning of how you choose to use it. When I got the call to speak at commencement, I'll be honest, I was a little surprised because it feels like it was just yesterday that I was sitting in the same chair that you're sitting in today. It's been a humbling experience thinking about what I might share with you that I've learned over the last 16 years that might resonate with you all. As I thought about what to share with you, I realized that a few simple lessons have meant a tremendous amount to my career and quality of life. So I'm not going to give you a 5 a.m. routine or some influencer's free ebook on success. Just a few lessons from the actual complex, messy, beautiful parts of life. I'm sharing these lessons in hopes that it might give you some perspective for this next phase of your journey. 3 lessons. That's what I've got for you today. Lesson number 1, your setbacks are setting you up. Trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. I lost my parents when I was 4 years old. My mother, Louise, fought cancer until the end with a smile and the grace of a strong, independent woman. My father was an abusive alcoholic whom she divorced on her deathbed. Even while fighting for her own life, she fought for my brother and I and ensured we'd be surrounded by people that loved and cared about us. My mother's sister, Marcia, and her husband, Jim, took us into their home and raised us like their own. Other family members helped too. Weekends with my grandma on the west side of Youngstown and aunts and uncles who stepped up without hesitation. There's an old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. We were raised by a village. By the time I sat where you're sitting, I had experienced more than most others around me. I had seen death. I had seen addiction destroy lives. I'd been working since the age of 13, full-time at the Blue Beacon Truck Wash by 16. Many of my high school friends had already gone to war and back. I share this not for sympathy, but because I learned early that our hardest moments become our greatest teachers. Those events shaped who I would become. They taught me the value of hard work, kindness, loyalty, and doing what you say you're going to do. These became the pillars of everything that we would go on to build after I graduated from Youngstown State. Had those things not happened, I wouldn't have met my beautiful wife, I wouldn't have my 2 amazing little boys, and the amazing life I live today. Those painful experiences created an inherent drive to provide for my family and care deeply for those around me. So here's my question for you. What's the hard thing you're carrying right now? The disappointment, the setback, the thing that feels unfair. You can choose to be sad, you can choose to be angry, you can choose to feel sorry for yourself, or you can show up and be better today than you were yesterday. Every setback isn't the end of your story. It's the foundation of the great things that you will go on to build. Lesson number 2, don't just show up. Be kind and go all in. When it came time for college, I was on my own to figure it out. My best chance was to stay close to home, working at the truck wash and paying my way through school. Every time there was a hurdle, I refused to give up. My brother taught me that. He's 9 years older than me and was born missing a bone in his leg. Doctors replaced it with one of his ribs. When he was a sophomore in high school, playing basketball, that leg snapped. In the hospital, he contracted a staph infection and they had to amputate below the knee. He went through the last years of high school and the early years of college dealing with challenges most cannot fathom. Today, he's raised 2 amazing boys, has led an extremely successful career in information technology. He's been my North Star, my brother, my father figure, my counselor, my mentor, my friend. He taught me the most important lesson. There is nothing you cannot accomplish if you show up and put in the work. I got to experience this firsthand when I started working at the Blue Beacon Truck Wash about 10 minutes down the road from here. I worked more than full-time through my time at YSU. Washing semi-trucks was a dirty job in this time of the year. As you can imagine, it was very cold. So when it came time to pay tuition, every dollar meant something. The money I was spending on tuition was not easily earned. For a few semesters, I kind of lived on campus. I would get cleaned up in the break room at the truck wash. I'd come down to campus. Because of class and work schedules, I'd need to sleep in my car or in study halls in between work and school. It was easy to push through these semesters because I knew I was getting close to graduating. A real job would be waiting at the finish line. But when I graduated, the financial crisis was at its peak. No one was hiring. I applied everywhere and got rejected everywhere. Then my phone rang. A friend from an internship mentioned my name to someone looking to hire. It wasn't the job I wanted. It was a receptionist position at a small accounting firm in Liberty Township. But it was a job in the field I'd studied. I showed up with work ethic, effort, and genuine respect for every person I encountered. 5 years later, I took a leadership role. After passing my CPA exam, I became a partner, then managing partner of our 5-person firm at the age of 25. That firm eventually became HD Growth Partners. Today, we have 3 offices across the state of Ohio, over 90 employees. We've been recognized as the #1 accounting firm for women to work. And we were one of the first regional CPA firms to have private equity backing in the history of public accounting. That receptionist job changed my life. So here's what I need you to hear. Some of you already have job offers. Some of you have no idea what's next. Some of you are going to take positions that feel beneath your degree. Take them anyway. Don't just show up. Work harder than everyone around you. Be kinder than necessary. Your first job doesn't define your career. How you show up at your first job does. Lesson number 3. Any single interaction could change your life forever. Act like it. The man who hired me as a receptionist, Harold, became my business partner, mentor, and father figure. He changed the course of my career forever. But I only met Harold because of someone I met doing my internship my senior year of college. I was an intern. I became friends with one of the staff accountants. That staff accountant would go on to take a client from Harold, and while transitioning the account, Harold asked if Joe knew any interns that didn't get hired. Joe gave Harold my name, and that's what led to the opportunity with Harold. I've met people that have impacted my life and career on golf courses, basketball games, conferences, and even at pizza joints. Those connections became the foundation of the businesses we've created and grown in this community. You truly never know how one person or one interaction could change the trajectory of your life forever. So here's my challenge to you. Be kind to everyone. The hostess at the restaurant, the receptionist at the office where you're applying, the person you hold the door open for. You have no idea who might change your life and whose life you might change. Graduates, I share these lessons because I genuinely believe you cannot fail if you embrace them. Your setbacks are setting you up. Trust the process, even when it doesn't make sense. Don't just show up. Be kind and go all in. Any singular interaction could change your life forever. Act like it. You've worked incredibly hard to get to this moment. You've completed your education during challenging times. You've adapted. You've persevered. That resilience, that is your competitive advantage. Your village, your families, your professors, your friends, they got you here. Now it's your turn. You're not just entering careers. You're entering a world that needs what you've learned here. The innovations, the solutions, the leadership, that starts with you. Create a life. Build someone else's village. Be the mentor. Be the person who makes the introduction. Be the one who shows up when it's hard. 16 years ago, I had no roadmap, no guarantees, just a willingness to learn and work hard. Today, I have one message. Your potential is far bigger than your circumstances. Class of 2025, celebrate tonight, but tomorrow, wake up and start building the future that only you can create. Thank you for allowing me here to be here with you all today. Go Gwins.
Thank you, Tim. Well, good evening. Congratulations to the graduates of the Williamson College of Business Administration and the STEM College. Today is a celebration of your achievement and all the work it took to get here. It is our privilege to be able to share this tremendous accomplishment with you, your family, and your friends. We are all so very proud of you. Along the way, you were supported by our exceptional faculty members. Their love of teaching and passion for their discipline continually inspires students. This university is fortunate to have faculty committed to excellence in teaching, scholarship, and service. Will all YSU faculty in attendance please stand up and be recognized? Thank you. I would also like to acknowledge the chairs and directors of our academic departments. Will you please stand as your name is called? Dr. Jeremy Schwartz, Director of the Larisha School of Accounting and Finance. Dr. Tom Wakefield, Chair of Mathematics and Statistics. Dr. Frank Lee, Director of the Rayan School of Engineering. And Dr. Abdu, Director of Computer Science, Information, and Engineering Technology. Thank you for all you do. You may be seated. Also joining us today are the deans of our academic colleges. These administrative leaders are instrumental in assuring and maintaining the quality of the academic experience at Youngstown State University. I ask the deans to stand when their names are called and remain standing until all are recognized. Please hold your applause until all are standing. Dr. Wim Steelen, Dean of the STEM College. Dr. Christina Sanger, Interim Dean of the Williamson College of Business Administration. Dr. Amy Constantino, Dean of the Sokolov Honors College. Dr. Sev Van Sambrook, Associate Provost, Office of Research Services and Graduate Studies. Dr. Christine Still, Associate Provost. Dr. David Graham, Associate Provost. Please join me in recognizing these leaders. Thank you. President Johnson, I am pleased to present the candidates for the academic degrees to be conferred this afternoon.
Will the candidates for the master degrees please rise? Will the candidates for the bachelor's and associate degrees please rise? By virtue of the authority vested in me by the State of Ohio and the University Board of Trustees, I confer upon you the respective degrees as earned, with all the rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereunto. Congratulations. Please be seated.
Good evening. I'm Interim Dean Christina Sanger. On behalf of the Williamson College of Business Administration, I'd like to congratulate our master's degree candidates on your achievements. Please rise and come forward. After you cross the stage, please return to your seats.
The students from the Williamson College of Business Administration have earned the following degrees: Master of Business Administration, Master of Science. Shazna Ali. Shazib Ali. Tahira Ali. Naz Atahan. Jennifer Barnott. Michael Joseph Basita. Morgan Biscoff. Taylor Black. Jenna Burns. Kala Cameron. Adam Carpenter. Noah Klein. Morgan Coleman. Ryan Descar. Ashley Dunn. Angela Dusky. Jamie Entrikin. Yeah. Can I have the next? Okay. Alisa Garbinski. Marisa Cartlin. Blanca Gartia. Michael Janacci. Lucy Golden Frallo. Lucas Gorby. Cortland Gorell. Corrine Hamper. Mackenzie Harrington. Isaac Hauser. Olivia Eaton. Jennifer Hackman. Lisa Hurd. Michael Humphreys. Caesar Jennings. Crystal Jennings. Andrew Johnson. Braxton Jones. Jason Cabaria. Robert Kaiser. Roderick Kaiser. Gregory Capel. Jonah Kirchner. Allison Kulik. Cameron Latanzio. Carrie Leon. Mark Liebelgu. Taylor Lindquist. China Lights. Tracy Littell. Michael Livonia. Twana Martin. Joshua Metalik. Troy McEwee. Christopher Mediet. Naya Morgan. Uvanran Guluri. Ashley Pawlowski. Margarita Payne. Lee Powell. Michael Renitska. Luis Racisco. Christina Rhodes. Miguel Rojas. Jacob Saunders. Michael Savopolosa. Cassandra Scott. Charles Seams. Elena Slemons. Joshua Smith. Mitchell Snowden. Dawn Spurlock. Shelby Spurlock. Natalie Stewart. Dakota Phil. Amanda Trinkle. Ray Vadley. Joseph Verbowski. Jerica Walker. Nathaniel Walters. Colleen Warren. Reese Watkins. Bilal Wetkan. Tyler White. Nu Dong. Jan Dopa. Please join me in congratulating the graduates from the Williamson College of Business Administration.
I'd like to congratulate our bachelor's and associate degree candidates on your accomplishments. Please rise and come forward. Please return to your seats after crossing the stage.
The students from the Williamson College of Business Administration have earned the following degrees: Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Science in Business Administration, Associate of Applied Business, Associate of Arts. Kathleen Batar. I'm sorry. Summa cum laude. Emily Atkins, magna cum laude. Cassandra A., magna cum laude. Ahmed. Batul Abkalan, cum laude. Garrett Bailey. Jacqueline Baldwin. Shelby Barb. Gregory Barrer. James Bertrando. Sophia Blankenship. Carly Brenner. Elizabeth Bruner, magna cum laude. Lauren Cantor, summa cum laude. Colin Burdett. Olivia Simel. Brianna Correll. Alyssa Correll. Kennedy Dean. Giovanni DiNardo. Kenan Donovan, highest honors. Antoinette Doda. Michael Eddy. Haley Epizito, cum laude. Patrick Falloon, magna cum laude. Elizabeth Ferraro, magna cum laude. Alina Francis, summa cum laude. Jaden Finley. Bane Flack. Kaylee Freeman. Brady French. Michael French. Garrett Gaya. Emmanuel Ginross. Leanne Harsha, summa cum laude. Brady Harter. Daniel Henry. David Hoover. Lauren Hurd, magna cum laude. Tyler Johnson, magna cum laude. Cody Kinsey, cum laude. Brooke Kirilla. James Cover, summa cum laude. Ronald Lane, summa cum laude. Carly Land, summa cum laude. Christopher Gordon, magna cum laude. Eduardo Silveria, magna cum laude. Desmil Ligg. Christopher Samaron, cum laude. Alexander McDonald, summa cum laude. Isabella Milano, summa cum laude. Joshua McCleary. Aaron Myers, summa cum laude. Christopher Myers, magna cum laude. Camry Nipple, summa cum laude. Justin Nukevez, cum laude. George Papadopoulos, cum laude. Talia Picon, summa cum laude. Christina Perry, summa cum laude. William Razat. Zach Pipala. Michael Porter, summa cum laude. Jack Pepperini, cum laude. Emmanuel Zergovel. Andrew Seaman, magna cum laude. Welsh Shaffin, cum laude. Madal Shethra, magna cum laude. Jenna Shinotsky. Jonathan Shelton. Cole Hordak. Dwayne Thornton. Jacob Vlolich. Bridget Wagner, magna cum laude. Kathleen Wamsley, summa cum laude. Brooke Wilson, cum laude. Ethan Agnew. Abu Lassell, with honors. Is that it? Please join me in congratulating these graduates.
Good evening. I'm Wim Steeland. I'm the Dean of the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics. At this time, we will recognize a student graduating from the College of STEM who is receiving his commission through the YSU Army Reserve Officers Training Corps, or ROTC. Nicholas Siegler accepts an appointment as an officer in the Ohio Army National Guard. His execution of the oath of office constitutes acceptance of this appointment. Lieutenant Colonel Joshua Woodruff will now administer his oath.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Nicholas Sigler,
Having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States.
having been appointed an officer in the Army of the United States,
In the grade of second lieutenant.
in the grade of second lieutenant,
Do solemnly swear.
do solemnly swear
That I will support and defend.
that I will support and defend
The Constitution of the United States.
the Constitution of the United States
Against all enemies.
against all enemies,
Foreign and domestic.
foreign and domestic,
And that I will bear true faith.
that I will bear true faith
And allegiance to the same.
and allegiance to the same.
That I take this obligation freely.
I take this obligation freely,
Without any mental reservation.
without any mental reservation
Or purpose of evasion.
or purpose of evasion,
And that I will well and faithfully.
and I will well and faithfully
Discharge the duties.
discharge the duties
Of the office upon which I am about to enter.
of the office upon which I am about to enter.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
So one more time, please join me in congratulating America's newest commissioned officer, Second Lieutenant Nicholas Siegler. On behalf of the faculty of the College of Science, Mathematics, Engineering, and Technology, I wish to congratulate the candidates who will receive their master's degree on their achievements. May I ask that you rise and come forward to be recognized.
The students from the College of Science, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics have earned the following degrees: Master of Computing and Information Systems, Master of Science in Engineering. Keep going. Shreyanka Acharya, Bidan Arjal, Ramtej Balaji, Sai Teja Bodapati, Raviteja Bhaskarala, Karthik Chamanti, Sudhir Kumar Chava, Sharboni Rani Das, Krishna Jayan Dumpala, Kiran Ganta, Pavani Venila Gogineni, Bhulakshmi Guntapalli, Sai Harshvardhan Guntapalli, Tarun Guntapalli, Venkata Nitish Kumar Kalavala, Nicholas George Canas, Gopi Chand Jinka, Shesha Sriram Kashyap Karamacheti, Dipina Kesi, Anjali Kant, Hemant Kumar Manchani, Mahesh Vamsi Kode, Abhishek Mutyala, Dharan Mupidi, Chandana Preeti Bodo, Victor Chokwansu Okali, Lakshmi Narayan Naraboina, Gopinarella, Shivakumar Reddy Niganolu, Chai Nangho, Venkata Pavan Peram, Prasiddha Pokhrel, Madhusudan Poldas, Vinay Kumar Posham, Srikant Namilakonda Venkata, Arnab Rahe, Dikam Ray, Ajay Mishra Sadi, Ashok Chakravarti Somagani, Rajesh Shah, Girish Sundara Rajula, Harshavardhan Reddy Talambedu, Jai Sai Jagdish Tanedu, Tirumala Venkata Kavya Karam Seti, Naga Sai Durga Jai Kumar Koliseti, Triveni Babu Nalamotu, Srileka Kashireddy, Sai Ramya Pola, Ridhima Renikindi, Sai Harshita Sravanam, Anushka Venamaneni, Emmanuel Adu Sarfo, Alisa Rene Burnett, Venkateshwar Reddy Bodu, Diana Drobjench, Sachin Eluri, Dharan Teja Kanjeri, Millicent Jepkomi Kilomo, Lydia Kerembu Mairuru, Tyler May Morales, Kiran Babu Nakala, Sagar Pandey, Derek Jason Scott, Justin Robert Wagner, Sundar Samreen Wani, Amnar Mohammad Yusuf Abu Mara, Adnan Ansari, Hassan Arshad Subswari, Vishal Ramawat, Venkata Sai Vamshi Bonta, Mahesh Babu Oraganti, Sri Varun Pulagam, Abhishek Gauranga, Ipsa Tapa, Rajat Rajendra Kadam, Lakshmi Narayana Venugopala Shanmuga, Melik Killing, Jonas Gerhard Edward Epp, Samuel Otisa Blankson, Lokesh Kumar Datrek, Nikita Kollurui, Saujanya Gunturu, Mahesh Telugu, Sai Swapna Velumpati, Ayush Giri, Diveshwar Shah, Nazia Sheikh, Krishna Sapkota, Abhishkar Paneru, Sujan Timil Shaina. Please join me in congratulating these graduates.
At this time, may I ask that the candidates for the bachelor's and associates please rise and come forward. I wish to congratulate you on behalf of the faculty and staff from the STEM College.
The students from the College of Science, Engineering, Technology, Engineering, and Mathematics have earned the following degrees: Bachelor of Arts, Bachelor of Engineering, Bachelor of Science in Applied Science, Associate of Applied Science. Anthony John Miko, summa cum laude. Carrie Michelle Cirillo, cum laude. Justin Charles Carroll. Emma Michelle Battaglia, cum laude. Devin Chase Danko. Justin E. Hanna. Austin Brady Jagler, cum laude. Owen J. Brady, sum cum laude. Jane Michael Burbick, cum laude. Joseph Edward Carlini, cum laude. Mark Daniel Christoph. Raj Budatoki. George Mike Karafis, summa cum laude. Swarnima Dungana, magna cum laude. Christopher Benjamin Dunn, magna cum laude. Ethan Raymond First, magna cum laude. Alina Nicole Martinez, magna cum laude. Riley Clayton Miller. Michael James Neapolitan Jr. Delaney Panigal. Robert John Pliza Jr., magna cum laude. Nadia Muhammad Rave, sum cum laude. Isaac Andrew Ray. Antonio Gennaro Riccardi, magna cum laude. Cor Alexander Burnett, sum cum laude. Srijensko Carl Sheets, sum cum laude. Jonathan Schmidt, cum laude. Joseph Scott. Tori Christine Shields. Jacob Aaron Shogren, cum laude. Biraj Shrestha, magna cum laude. Nicholas William Sigler. Ralph William Smith III, cum laude. Mirinda Reid Stonemet. Anthony G. Vigorito, cum laude. Lucas Michael Wayne, sum cum laude. Kyla Ross Weber, magna cum laude. Austin Frederick Winger Kyler. Rochelle Baron Maldonada, cum laude. Tony Samir Bolas. David James Brown II. Jade Monique Cosby. Nathan Michael Cox, cum laude. Jessica E. Di Apolito, cum laude. Andrew Sean DeGorty. Emily Elizabeth Franco. Dakota Michael Georgie. Justin Walker Hamilton. Elizabeth A. Herdman. Nicholas Robert Morris Judo. Antonio William LaMonica, magna cum laude. Erin Margaret Morel, sum cum laude. Emily C. Reiter, cum laude. Tyler Roman, cum laude. Nicholas R. Sabella, cum laude. Matthew Joseph Smith. Ty Joseph Stanley. Eric W. Search. Michael John Stancliffe, cum laude. Brigette Ann Garvin Spazzo, sum cum laude. Kenneth Gerald Berry, cum laude. Ethan Thomas Gutner. Aidan John Hammer. Please join me in congratulating these graduates.
Graduates, today you join over 121,000 YSU alumni spanning 117 years and reaching literally around the world. As you depart campus today, remember the faculty, staff, and students who inspired you to new explorations. Remember that you never truly leave YSU, because we are now a part of you, and you are always a part of us. For many of you seated in the audience today, this ceremony also has very special meaning. You've had a special role in the success and accomplishments of these graduates. At this time, I ask the graduates to stand and salute with your applause your family and friends who have provided the love and support necessary for you to be here today. Please stand. We have one final symbolic action to conclude today's commencement ceremony. Graduates, when you earn your associate's or bachelor's degree, you move your tassel from the right side to the left side of your cap. This act signifies the completion of your undergraduate journey and your transition to the next chapter of your lives. Graduate students, you did this when you completed your undergraduate work, and you've already achieved this milestone. So if there's an undergraduate student seated near you, feel free to guide them in this very, very complex process. At this time, if you're one of our graduates today who's earned an associate's or bachelor's degree, I invite you to stand up. You already are. Participate in this ceremonial tradition. So please, if you're able, help me count. Ready? 3, 2, 1, right to left. I now ask everyone to stand for the singing of the Alma Mater. At the conclusion, will the audience please be seated until the recessional is completed. Graduates, you will be released by your faculty marshals.
All hail to thee, O Youngstown, our sunlight and starshine, we see thee in all thy glory. The red and the white, thy glorious colors, ever we praise and hold them high to the breeze as a symbol of our most loyal allegiance. This anthem, O Youngstown, a pledge of trust shall be, that thy sons and daughters shall keep faith with thee forever.
Down the stairs.